Perfect. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Lee McClintock and I'm the marketing coordinator within the CPD team at UWS. It's brilliant to see so many of you with us today. I recognise some names from our previous mindfulness sessions, and I think there's some new people joining us today as well. So thank you very much for coming along. I'm just going to do some general housekeeping at the start of the session just to let you know about what's going to happen. So before I pass over to Ross, who will give you a kind of brief introduction on himself, I just need to let you know that the session is being recorded, so you can have your camera on or you can turn it off. It's totally up to you. It won't be shared outside of the people who have signed up for the session, so it's totally your choice. We ask that your microphones are kept off throughout the session just so that there's no kind of noise interruption. But at the end, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to turn it back on and ask Ross or myself any questions that you might have. Equally, if you'd prefer to type in the chat box, you can do that as well, that's fine. And then the last thing that I need to let you know is that there's a little feedback survey that's going to be emailed out to you either today or tomorrow. And we're just asking for some kind of general feedback and comments on the event on this session, but also if you're joining us later today as well. So I think that's enough from me, and Ross, I'll pass over to you.
Thanks very much, Lee. And good morning, everyone. Good to see you all today, and welcome to this session. So we're just going to start off. I'll just say a couple of things about myself. First of all, so as you know, my name's Ross Deuchar, and I know some of you here today, others maybe I haven't met. So I'm Professor of Criminology and Criminal Justice within the university. But I'm also a certified mindfulness practitioner, and regularly before the lockdown periods started, obviously, did go into prisons to deliver mindfulness programs to men in prison who were suffering from addiction issues. And I've also worked with recovery groups delivering these programs, and also deliver them regularly during these sessions within the university itself. So I just want to start off just to settle everyone by doing a very short 3-minute breathing space. So just to invite you to find a comfortable position and just allowing yourself to relax as best you can, allowing your shoulders to drop, and just having your hands placed comfortably on your lap if that feels okay. And just allowing your eyes to close gently. And just becoming aware, first of all, of your posture. Allowing your spine to just lengthen and lengthen. And just generally relaxing your body. And just asking yourself silently, what is my experience right now? In thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. Just recognizing and accepting whatever that experience is right now, even if it is unwanted. And then just gradually redirecting your attention onto your breathing, becoming aware of each in-breath and each out-breath, following one after the other. Breathing in and breathing out. So you might become conscious of the breath, perhaps in your lower abdomen, the stretching of the abdomen wall with each in-breath, and the falling away with each out-breath. Seeing if that's true for you. And then gradually beginning to widen the focus of your attention around the breathing, to include a sense of the body as a whole, your posture, your facial expression. And if you become aware of any feelings of discomfort, stiffness, tension, just imagining the breath can flow into these sensations with each in-breath and flow out from them with each out-breath. Just allowing the sensations to be just as they are for now. And gradually beginning to become aware of the space around you. Beginning to visualize the room. And very, very gently, just when you're ready, beginning to open your eyes. So that was a very short 3-minute breathing space. And I think what it illustrates is that even taking a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes out of your day, no matter how busy you might be, can sometimes be really beneficial to just bring you back into the present moment and find a little bit of sense of peace. So for those of you who have maybe not done any mindfulness before, or maybe don't know an awful lot about it, mindfulness was first brought to the Western world in the 1970s by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who set up the first mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic at the University of Massachusetts. And basically, mindfulness has been defined as bringing awareness to the present moment without any form of judgment. So it's about paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. That's how Jon Kabat-Zinn himself defined it. And he's written a book, he's written a number of books, but one of them is called Wherever You Go, There You Are. And I think that summarizes what mindfulness is really all about. Often we spend an awful lot of our time living in our heads, nowadays, unfortunately, living on our phones, and we miss what's actually happening in the present moment around us. So something as simple as going for a walk, but doing it in a mindful way, can be really beneficial. So just noticing the things of nature around us, the sounds, the smells, the sights, rather than doing what we often do, we go for a walk, but we're actually somewhere else. We're thinking about what comes next. We're reliving what's happened before. We're maybe listening to music, or we're looking at our phones or whatever. So it's just about that present moment-to-moment awareness. Now, I was first introduced to mindfulness probably almost a decade ago. I was introduced to it in a very small way by a CBT therapist when I was undergoing a therapy program at that time. And I was intrigued and I wanted to find out more. So I bought a book at that time, which has very much influenced me over the years, called Mindfulness, Finding Peace in a Frantic World by Mark Williams and Danny Penman, two of the leading figures in the mindfulness movement in this country. And the title really spoke to me when I saw it on the bookshelf in Waterstones, Finding Peace in a Frantic World, because I think we live in a really frantic world, and nowadays, of course, we live in a very uncertain and ever-changing world. But the first page of the book really spoke to me because this is what it says. Can you remember the last time you lay in bed wrestling with your thoughts? You desperately wanted your mind to become calm, to just be quiet so that you could get some sleep. But whatever you tried seemed to fail. Every time you forced yourself not to think, your thoughts exploded into life with renewed strength. You told yourself not to worry, but suddenly discovered countless new things to worry about. You tried fluffing up the pillow, rolling over to get more comfortable, but soon enough, you began thinking again. And as the night ground ever onwards, your strength progressively drained away, leaving you feeling fragile and broken. By the time the alarm went off, you were exhausted, bad-tempered, and thoroughly miserable. And throughout the next day, it goes on to say you had the opposite problem. You wanted to be wide awake, but you could hardly stop yawning. Now, I really identified with that at the time because that seemed to be the defining kind of feature of my life. And also it went on to say later on, have you ever found yourself maybe walking through a lovely park on a summer day? It's beautifully sunny and peaceful, but suddenly you have a flicker of anxiety, and then you start to question it. It's a lovely day. You say to yourself, it's a beautiful park. What's wrong with me? I wish I were feeling happier just now. And by saying that to yourself, I wish I was feeling happier, how do you feel now? Well, you probably feel worse, because this is because you focused on the gap between how you feel and how you want to feel. And focusing on that gap highlighted it. And that seemed to be something that I was doing a lot of. So when I was feeling a bit tired or a bit anxious or a bit stressed, I ruminated on it and I made the sensations even worse. And I'm sure you can probably identify with that yourselves. And what I learned from this book and everything that I've read and learned about since about mindfulness is that we spend an awful lot of our time in the doing mode of the mind, trying to solve problems, which is great if we're trying to find our way from A to B or trying to grapple with a new work project and lots of other examples. But it's absolutely useless where we're trying to deal with our emotions, our feelings, and our personal experiences. What we really need to do is enter the being mode of the mind, to just sit with fluctuating emotions and feelings, not analysing them, not ruminating over them. And eventually we find that everything actually passes in time. So that's really what mindfulness is all about. There's a few kind of attitudinal foundations underpinning it. It's non-judging. So we're just experiencing the moment without judging it, whatever arises. Patience, having a beginner's mind, so experiencing the moment as if for the first time. Trust, non-striving is a big part of it. We're not trying to get anywhere by practicing mindfulness. We're just accepting whatever happens moment to moment. Acceptance and letting go. But a few words of caution to dispel a few myths about mindfulness. Lots of people have these misconceptions. It is absolutely not in any way religious. It was, of course, it did have its origins in Buddhism long ago, but the way it has been delivered for the last 40 years or so, 50 years, in the Western world is in a completely secular way, open to all religions and no religion. You don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor to practice it, as you just saw. I used to think when I got really good at mindfulness, I would end up doing that. But actually, you can practice mindfulness anywhere. Sitting on a chair, you can even do it standing in the queue to get into the supermarket. You can do it, I've done it on a plane, I've done it on a train, you can do it anywhere. And you actually don't have to be meditating even to do mindfulness. As I said, something as simple as going for a mindful walk can be really beneficial. The practices, as you've just seen, don't have to take a lot of time. Something as simple as a 3-minute breathing space can be really great for just breaking up your day and bringing you back to the present moment. It's not complicated, and it won't deaden the mind or prevent you from being creative or striving towards your goals. All it does is provide a sense of clarity. But we're not setting out by practicing mindfulness thinking and doing this to feel more relaxed. That might happen or it might not. So I'm going to lead you in now to one of the most prominent practices in the 6-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program, which is the body scan. And I'd like to invite you now to, you can lie down if you've got a place beside you that would be comfortable to do that. Lots of people enjoy doing the body scan lying down, or you can equally do it just sitting in a chair. So the choice really is your own. So I would just invite you just now, we're going to be here maybe for about 15 minutes or so for this one. And I'd like to invite you to just find a comfortable position to practice this. As I said, you can lie down if you're lying down, maybe just having your arms outstretched by your side. You might want a pillow underneath your head. And if you're sitting, just sitting in a chair, allowing your back to rest against the chair. Now, the important thing is with this practice is to avoid a level of coziness and warmth that sets the scene for sleep. Because what we're aiming to do here is not fall asleep, but actually fall awake and become more conscious of our moment-to-moment experience. And just allowing your eyes to close if that feels comfortable, or perhaps having a fixed gaze on the ceiling or the floor in front of you. And just becoming conscious of what it feels like to have a body. Becoming aware of the points of contact between the body and the chair or the floor, and the points of contact with the clothing. Perhaps the light touch of air on any exposed skin. And now just slowly redirecting your attention again onto the flow of your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. So just gradually moving from that doing mode of the mind that we so often find ourselves in, to a time of just being, leaving the to-do lists behind. Perhaps noticing the flow of your breath in the nostrils. Does it feel cool on each in-breath and warmth on each out-breath? And as you sit here or lie here, we're going to just gradually scan our way through the whole body. And the idea is not to create any sensations or make things different from how you find them, but just exploring what's here already. And just allowing your attention to travel all the way down through the body. And rest on your toes. And just becoming aware of your big toes. And the little toes. And all the toes in between. Sensations can you find here today? You might become aware of a feeling of tingling or pulsing, feelings of temperature. Or there may be no sensations at all. And that's okay. We're not trying to create anything. We're just seeing what's here already. And gradually now allowing your attention to expand. To also take in the rest of the feet. Beginning with the soles of the feet. And the heels. Perhaps becoming aware of the points of contact between the feet and the floor. Or wherever you're lying on. Becoming aware now of the tops of the feet. Sensations are here. And gradually also taking in the ankles and the ankle bones. Sensations of temperature, contact with the socks or the clothing, and sensations deep inside the ankles. And there may be very obvious sensations, or maybe very subtle. And gradually moving up the legs now, taking in the whole of the lower legs. The soft calf muscles, the backs of the legs. Long shin bones at the front of the legs. Also the knees, and the knee joints. What sensations are you aware of here? Just allowing them to be, just as they are for now. Gradually now, moving your attention into the tops of the legs, the thighs. Sensations are here. And can you breathe with it? Become aware of the sense of weight in this part of the body. Becoming aware now of the hips and the pelvis. Beginning with the right hip, the left hip, and the whole basin of the pelvis. And also taking in the buttocks. Becoming aware of all or any sensations. Exploring them. Tending to. Now taking a slightly deeper in breath. And then the next available out breath. Allowing the legs to just fade to the background. As you begin to become aware of the back. Beginning with the lower back. Sometimes an area of the body that holds quite a lot of tension. So if you become aware of any sense of stiffness or tightness, just exploring these sensations. A sense of absolute curiosity and kindness. And also becoming aware of the middle of the back. And the upper back. You're holding the whole of the back in awareness now. Breathing with the back. And gradually wrapping your attention around the body and allowing it to settle in the lower abdomen. Perhaps becoming aware again of the breathing. Stretching of the abdomen wall with each in-breath. And the falling away with each out-breath. Seeing if that's true for you. You may have become conscious of the tendency for the mind to wander off. Thinking, planning, worrying, daydreaming. And if you notice this, just knowing that this isn't a mistake, nothing's gone wrong. This is just what minds do. They tend to wander off. So just gently but firmly, beginning to escort the attention back. Now in the lower abdomen. Breathing in and breathing out. And gradually allowing your attention to travel into the chest. Rising and the falling of the chest. Each in-breath and each out-breath. Perhaps becoming aware of the subtle beating of the heart as you sit here or lie here at rest. And you're allowing your attention to travel into the shoulders. Perhaps just allowing the shoulders to sink just a little bit more into the mat or into the back of the chair. Perhaps just imagining that someone has given you a very relaxing massage. So the shoulders just fall away now from the ears. And your attention expands now down into the arms, beginning with the upper arms. moving into the elbows, the forearms and the wrists, and the hands. Becoming aware what the hands feel like sitting here at rest. The palms of the hands. And the fingers and the fingertips. You become aware of a sense of pulsing or tingling in the fingertips. And now allowing your attention to travel back up through the arms, through the shoulders and into the neck. Another part of the body that can sometimes hold tension. Just exploring all or any sensation. Befriending those sensations rather than turning away from them. Becoming aware of the sides of the head and the ears. And then moving into the face, beginning with the lower jaw and the chin. The mouth and the tongue within the mouth. And if you've found the mind wandering off again, you know what to do. Just gently bringing your attention back, without judging yourself in any way. Beginning to allow your attention to rest now on the nose and the cheeks. Becoming aware of the eyes and the eyelids and all the small muscles around the eyes. The eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows. The forehead and the temples. And the scalp. And now just imagining the breath could flow in through the top of the head and all the way through the body and out through the toes. And then back in through the toes and out through the head. The whole body filled with this peaceful, nourishing breath. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Just this sense of being. And just sitting here or lying here now. Resting in awareness. Moment to moment. Until you hear the sound of the bell. Okay, everyone. So just when you're ready, just bringing some life back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe taking a wee stretch. And if anybody wants to put anything in the group chat, or to just shout out anything about how that was, how you found it, anything that came up for you. Maybe you felt relaxed, maybe you felt your mind was wandering a lot, and that's okay. Were you able to bring the mind back? Yeah, some people are saying they noticed a very busy mind. That's quite common, that's quite normal. Oh, that's great, good. Some people have found that they're obviously really relaxed. That's great. Felt a little weird, yeah. That's quite common as well, especially if it's something that you've done for the first time. Really good to check in with myself. Tensed up before relaxing, yeah, that's common. Very peaceful, thought it was awesome, great way to relax. Did feel a bit strange as I'm on campus, yeah. But it's actually something that you can do at any time, in the middle of a working day. You don't even have, you sat there for 18 minutes there, which is quite a long time. You don't have to do that. It can just be a very quick 5 minutes, depending on how much time you've got. But that's great. Some really great comments there. First time trying mindfulness, brilliant. Can identify with thoughts racing at night. Trying to get a handle on this yet. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Recommend any apps? Yes, I can. Anything by Mark Williams. If you look up on YouTube, his practices are really good. They're maybe about 12 to 14, 15 minutes, so they're quite short. Also, John Kabat-Zinn himself has got practices, but they tend to be a bit longer, about 40 minutes or more. There's lots of things out there, but I would really recommend Mark Williams' one to start off with. That's what I started with, to start them. So we've got about another 5-6 minutes or so. So I'm going to lead you into a final practice now, where we're going to just do a sitting practice, focusing on the breath and focusing on some of the thoughts that sometimes come into our mind. So if I'd just like to invite you again to find a comfortable position. Oh, somebody's asking about John Kabat-Zinn. Maybe I'll just put that in the group chat. Sorry, John, that should be. And then Mark Williams. These are the two people to look out for. You can find some of their practices, guided practices, on YouTube. Okay, so just finding a comfortable position again, just sitting this time. Allowing your eyes to close again. And just becoming aware of your posture. Embracing a sense of dignity and wakefulness. So allowing your back to just lift and lengthen. Head balanced and poised. Hands just resting comfortably on your thighs. And allowing your attention again to just drop into the breathing. Becoming aware of each in-breath and each out-breath. Following one after the other. Breathing in and breathing out. And you might also become aware of the slight pause. As an in-breath becomes an out-breath, and an out-breath becomes an in-breath again. no right way to breathe. So letting go of trying to change the breath in any way. If it's a long breath, noticing it as a long breath. And if it's a shorter breath, just noticing this. And if you find the mind wandering off again, just noting where the mind has gone this time. And gently but firmly bringing it back. Beginning again with this breath. Each in-breath, a new beginning. Each out-breath, a letting go, a letting be. And just letting go of the past, even the last breath. Letting go of the future, even the next breath. And just focusing completely on this breath. And then just gradually, as you sit here, allowing the breathing to just fade to the background. Very much still present. Just resting in the wings. As we turn our attention more fully to focus on thinking, thoughts as events in the mind. And to do this, just perhaps in your mind's eye, imagining yourself sitting on the side of a river bank, noticing the river continually flowing in front of you. And every now and again, a leaf falls down from a nearby tree and floats along the river, moving downstream and eventually disappearing. So every time a thought pops into your mind, just seeing it written on one of these leaves. And if you tend to think in words, seeing the thought written in words on the leaf. If you think in images, just seeing the image. Just allowing it to float by. So not trying to get involved in any way, making the stream go faster or slowing it down. Just allowing it to come, linger a while, and then float by. So sometimes there may be lots of leaves, and other times there are spaces between the thoughts. And if at any point you find yourself caught up in your thinking, finding yourself on one of these leaves, or floating away downriver, just bringing yourself back, returning to the edge of the river, and noticing these thoughts continuing to float by. Whatever the thoughts might be, pleasant, unpleasant, or harder to detect at all, just quite neutral. Seeing these evanescent thought experiences as events, just secretions of the thinking mind, rather than as facts or the truth of things, whatever their content or their emotional charge. In this way, beginning to realize that thoughts are just thoughts. And just like the leaves or the bubbles and eddies in the stream, they keep floating by and eventually pass. So now just allowing the thought stream and the thought river to fade to the background. And allowing your attention to return to the breathing. And in the couple of minutes left before you hear the sound of the bell, I'll just finish with a poem by Dorothy Hunt. Do you think peace requires an end to war? Or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, your spouse, yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here? Some other time than now? In some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment. That's all. This moment in the heart space, where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space, where everything that is welcome. Okay, folks, so just gradually just bringing yourself back, maybe taking a wee stretch, and hopefully taking this sense of moment to moment awareness with you into the rest of your day. And if you want to leave any comments in the group chat, that'll be great. And just like to thank you for coming today, and see you again soon.
Yep, thank you everyone for coming along to the session today, and thank you Ross for leading that. That was really, really nice and relaxing for going ahead into the afternoon. If anybody does have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or to fire them into the chat. And I will put the CPD email into the chat box as well, just in case anybody has any questions or wants to maybe add themselves to our mailing lists, because we do mindfulness sessions with Ross and with our colleague Robin as well, on quite a regular basis. So if anyone's interested in that, we can make sure to send that information on to you. If nobody has any questions, then you are free to go.
Thanks, folks, and thanks, Lee, for all your
No worries at all.
organisation today. Thank you.
Thank you.